This is the remastered first interrogation of Florida State University Associate Professor Dr. Jeffrey Lacasse. He's an associate professor at the FSU College of Social Work. His research areas of interest include mental health and psychiatric medications. Of course, Professor Lacasse was not involved in the murder of Florida State University professor Dan Markel. However, when he was first brought into the police station for an interview, he was a suspect, all thanks to his girlfriend, Wendi Adelson, who had sort of broken up with him a few days before the murder. Many think that Wendi and her family set up Professor Lacasse as a patsy, or at least as a possible suspect, someone to distract the attention of the police from the real killers. Luckily for him, Professor Lacasse had departed Tallahassee a day before he had told Wendi that he would depart. The murder happened just about the time that Professor Lacasse was supposed to leave town. So if these interviews started as interrogations, they quickly progressed to interviews because Professor Lacasse was a wealth of information to the detectives and also in many ways helped solve the murder. As you will see, his theories about the murder turned out to be mostly accurate. Here we go.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lacasse, I appreciate you coming in and talking with me here. Like I said, we're still in the preliminary stages of this investigation.
Yeah.
Your name did come up,
Of course.
because you were associated at some point with Wendi,
Of course.
which is his ex-wife, as I'm sure
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just, I appreciate you coming in.
Sure.
I want to ask you some questions, kind of figure out where you were, if you've heard anything, if you have any information that would be helpful to us.
Yeah.
Just kind of run that whole gamut. Do you happen to have your ID with you? I think.
So my wallet got ripped up, and all I have is my passport right now. I can show you that.
Okay. Is this you here, or is that a different?
No, that's me.
Look different.
Well, yeah,
You got the beard.
About 10
Beard.
years ago. Yeah, that's my old.
Oh, okay.
I moved from Arizona at the beginning of the year. I kind of switched my license over, so it's Arizona. But that's me.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, beer. Yeah, that'd be here actually.
And you're 10/18/71.
Yes, sir. What do you prefer that I call you?
You can call me Corey.
Okay.
You don't have to be on a
Okay.
formal basis.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
here's my question before you get started. Is this?
I'm sorry.
Is this on the record as I give you this
Yes,
statement?
it's on the record.
Is there any opportunity to talk off the record, or that's not possible?
No, it's possible.
Okay, we do on the record first, and I have a couple theoretical things that
Sure.
I want to be quoted on. But
Yeah.
okay,
That'd be great.
okay.
What's your current address?
410 Victory Garden Lane, apartment number 41.
Is that Windrush Village?
It is.
Apartment 41?
Mm-hmm.
How do you like the neighborhood over there?
It's cheap. It's $500. I'm saving for a house. So.
Oh, okay. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
I used to live right over there off of Claremont.
Yeah, sure,
Which
sure.
is right there across the road.
That's very nice.
Well, like you said, it's kind of cheap over there.
Yeah.
That's where I first moved when I got out of college. But
Okay, sure.
anyway, that's neither here nor there. Do you have any contact numbers that I can reach you at? Should I
Sure.
need to talk to you later?
Sure.
I think I talked to you on a 294 number.
That's the number. That's the only number I have.
That's your number.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that one. Just tell me a little bit about yourself as far as your background and stuff like that. Kind of what you and Wendi.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually got my PhD here at Florida State in 2008.
Okay.
Graduated from FSU, went to Arizona for 5 years, and this is my first year back. So I met Wendi maybe a month after I got back. Met her in September of 2013.
Okay.
We were set up on a date by a mutual friend I work with.
And who was that?
Stephen Tripodi. And another mutual friend. It's kind of two of them. Jane McPherson, who I know you talked to.
How's Stephen spell his last name?
Tripodi. I know it was him and Jane McPherson were all for a drink, and they both kind of suggested. I've talked to Jane. I know you've met Jane.
I haven't.
Oh, you have someone met Jane. She was in here when Wendy did her long 9-hour day.
Okay, and I take it you've talked to somebody about that because you know about it?
I talked to Jane for 5 minutes. I've been out of town.
Okay.
And Wendy and I are estranged at the moment, so it's pretty bad timing in terms of that. So I can get to that as I give you the tail end of it.
Sure.
So we started dating in September. Did it all through the fall.
Okay.
Wasn't serious back then. She was dating other people as well. Came back from Christmas break, had a conversation, decided to date more seriously. By March 1, we're a couple, we're girlfriend, boyfriend.
March of 2014?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe late February. Around Valentine's Day, I hit her with the romance and all that. We clicked together. And then spent a lot of time with Wendy. I don't think anybody's been with Wendy more than me in the last 6 months.
Okay.
She has 2 kids. I've been over there, I'd say 80 or 90% of nights I'm over there. And every single night that she doesn't have the kids, with maybe just 1 or 2 exceptions, if she's in town, I've slept over. So I spent a lot of time with her. We had some problems.
Where's that at?
That's 3303 Aqua Ridge Way in Corn. Always at her house, never at mine. I got a shitty apartment, as you know. We ran into some problems in May and June. Started fighting.
And I'm not here to get into your personal life.
Yeah, but I think it made better. Go ahead. Yeah.
But given the severity of this incident,
Yes.
I mean, I am going to pry a little bit. I hope you
Pry
don't
as
get
much
offended by that.
I'm not offended.
Ultimately, I mean, what our goal is to find out who did this and bring them to justice.
I get it. I get it.
So
anything you need to ask. That helps me because I don't want to volunteer my BS if it's not useful to you. So tell me what's useful to you. If anything you want to.
Yeah, and with that, I'll just tell me everything, and I'll write down what's useful and discard the rest.
Okay.
So what kind of problems were you getting into in May and June? Was it?
Yeah. Jeez, that's gonna be public. This is fucked up.
Wait, what was that?
I said this. If this goes public, it's just I know how this works.
It probably won't.
Okay.
See,
I'm in an awkward situation because there's a 1% chance Wendy and I get back together. You know what I mean? We're estranged at the moment. So,
right.
So I have that in the back of my. It's a 1% chance it's over. I think she moves to South Florida ASAP. But let me just.
We'll get into that.
Okay. So in May, she disclosed to me that. I did a stupid thing. I said, "Who was that guy you were dating when we first started dating?" She said, "Daniel Sack." I don't know if his name is coming across your
Okay.
You
asked her about
Yeah. I was just, just doing idle talk. Come back from a beach vacation and reminiscing about when we first fell in love and all this kind of stuff. And
what was this guy's name?
Daniel Sack. He was a
you know how he spells his last name?
Yeah, S-A-C-K, just Sack.
The way it sounds.
Yeah. He was a professor.
A former boyfriend of hers. Or
that's
not boyfriend.
Well, no, maybe that's what the argument was. But that's what we started having arguments.
Okay, I'll let you tell the story. I want to interject.
So she told me that they stopped seeing each other in the fall, and that she continued to see him platonically.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not believe Wendy. I have a pretty decent bullshit detector. It just didn't sound right,
Okay. So was it just based on your intuition alone, or did you have some kind of verification?
She would always say, she said, "I continue to see him throughout the spring." And I said, "Oh yeah, where? What'd you guys do?" And she said, "To coffee a couple of times." I said, "Oh cool, I didn't care about that." coffee. And she said, yeah, I go for walks with him. I said, where do you go for walks? She's like, in his neighborhood. Wait a second, you're going to some guy's house? Seriously? Mm-hmm. And as soon as I went that, she shut down. She wouldn't tell me anything about him. And it became like a topic because all of a sudden, I'm going to give you a little background too. You dig into Wendy's calendar, you're going to see she's constantly traveling to South Florida all the time. And it wasn't a normal boyfriend-girlfriend thing in that.
With you?
With me. No, with me.
Okay.
I don't know with him.
Yeah.
I have no idea the extent. I mean, I said, were you in love with him? Was it just a fuck buddy? Well, just tell me what this is. And so I don't have any information about that at all.
Right.
They could have had I just don't know. He moved to Amherst, Massachusetts, May 20th. So he's been gone. So I don't know if he's a person of interest. I have no idea. I've never met the well, I didn't meet the guy. I walked in on them in a coffee shop I walked into All Saints one day. They were having coffee. That's actually where the way back up. I walked into, like a week later, I walked into All Saints.
When did you say he moved over there?
May 23rd, he moved to Amherst. And they dated September. Well, that's what our dispute was about. I think they dated September.
You think they dated past?
I think
it went into the relationship you shared with her.
I think so. But she would say it was a platonic. And I said, well, I don't appreciate not knowing about this. So it became a whole thing. I lost all the trust. I was like, this is screwed up.
Yeah, sure.
And she was real weird about it. Like, he's not the best liar ever. I mean, she just gets so anxious that, like, it was a thing. So, anyway. Yeah, that little dispute about that turned into a whole thing, a whole disaster.
I'm sorry. Let me back up a second. What did you get your PhD in?
Social work.
Okay.
I'm a mental health guy.
Okay. It seems a lot of the circle is attorneys.
Attorneys and social work, actually, yeah.
And so you're kind of in that circle as well because your mutual friends knew her.
Oh, yeah, it was interesting. She's Jewish, as you probably know, and my mentor at FSU, that's where she goes for Jewish holidays. That's why we slid in together. We had the same friends.
Are you Jewish as well?
No.
Okay.
But we had like 10 mutual friends, so that's what we clicked. It was like easy. I was safe to her because all these people already said, "Oh yeah, he's a good guy."
Right.
I was on
vouch for you.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So it was a lot of mutual dates and that kind of thing. But anyway, we had this dispute, and I was pissed. I was just like, she's been a lot of work. I mean, she's always traveling. And when I say not normal, I just mean like we had 2 weekends together in March, April, May combined. And otherwise she's booked, So I was a little suspicious about that. Now she always just said I'm so busy with work. And she is a prolific attorney and writer and all that. So, but anyway, the next week I walked into All Saints Coffee and I told her not to see this guy again. I said, you don't want to talk about it? That's fine. I just don't want to see him ever again.
What'd she say?
She said, okay. He's moving in a week anyway. And I said, okay, problem solved, And I said, you don't have to tell me anything about him. I just, you don't want to describe it. I don't want you seeing him, public or not. I'm not usually like that, but she pushed my buttons on this thing. So I walk in All Saints to get a cup of coffee, and she's sitting there with him. Local with, Tallahassee is a small town.
Sure.
So, and I started to walk up to the table, and I was annoyed, but just prepared to shake the guy's hand and be the better man and say, how you doing? He's leaving tomorrow. What's the big deal? I didn't like what I saw. She's giggling too much. She's twirling her hair. He's leaving clothes. So I was like, oh, I see what this is. That's what it looked. That was my instinct anyway. Anyway, so that became a debacle. So we started. That's when we started fighting. So
did you confront him then?
I didn't. I started walking towards him, and temper started flaring. I thought I do not need to end up getting arrested for assault on All Saints Coffee. So I just went into the bathroom, and she ran to the bathroom and was sobbing in the bathroom. It was her worst nightmare.
But she saw you there, so
no, I let her see me, but I never confronted them. I just got out of their way because I didn't want to cause a whole scene.
Okay.
And that's when we started fighting because I lost all trust at that point because he had not go to the coffee. And when we got back that night and we're fighting, it became really clear she was incredibly nervous about it. So I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't have any well. There were times throughout the spring semester that I'm 99% confident that she was seeing both of us. There were all kinds of signs, stuff, getting home at 9:30 at night, things like that. But I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But I was pretty confident. And she actually we had a fight. I'll tell you about in a second. But she conceded that in March she had seen him a few times. So anyway, so June we start. May we fight all in May because of that. Couldn't get over it. And then in June, he's moved, right? So she's sad for a couple weeks after he leaves, which I noticed. And then and she became the best girlfriend ever all of a sudden. It was really interesting. All of a sudden I had this new girlfriend. It's like she's all attentive and everything.
Right.
Instead of getting happy, I got pissed because I was like, oh, I see why this is. You know, I'm all of a sudden getting all the energy all of a sudden.
You're here, he's not.
Yeah, well, yeah. It didn't make me feel special exactly.
Right. I can understand.
So, and we were in, and I got pissed off and I did some snooping. I looked through her calendar. I started getting real suspicious, and I was just like,
What kind of calendar?
An agenda. She's an agenda.
Like regular paper calendar?
Like paper calendar that she carries in her backpack, and she left it on the table, went to the bathroom, I just flipped through, and it's Deus Ex, you know, so I was like, they were going on dates in public and stuff. They went zip lining at Tallahassee Museum, stuff like that. So I didn't tell her I did that. I didn't know what to do with it. Because I don't know if you met Wendi?
Not personally.
Very charismatic and very good at, I mean, once you date this way, just do anything for her. I'm not the only man that's been under her thumb in that way. I mean, she really has this charisma and this sexuality. And so, you know, you throw yourself in front of a bus for this girl. This is a new kind of thing for me. But I mean, we went to Gainesville. I teach, you know, for FSU, and we have an off-campus program at UF. I took her with me so we could, you know, go out and have dinner. And then during the day I worked and she worked. And Saturday night I got really upset. She made some crack. She's got a acerbic sense of humor. She made some crack, and I just waited and her about this stuff. And I looked at your agenda, I know what's going on, all this kind of stuff. And I had never been violent. We're in a hotel room, and I didn't raise my voice louder than you could in a hotel room. But I was intense, and I was really like, this is bull. You know, I was really upset. And she just went to pieces, went to complete pieces. She's very fragile emotionally. She just lost her shit. So we had the most awkward drive ever from Gainesville to Tallahassee the next day. You know?
Yes.
It was pretty awkward. And
when was this exactly?
That was June 28th.
Okay. Go ahead.
Then the next day, she drove with their parents to South Florida for 14 days.
So you really haven't seen her since then, or have you?
No, if I get to that in just a second, just to sketch it out. Yeah. So while she's gone, and this may bear, I can tell you a lot about when she's in South Florida. I suspect that's of interest. She's got both her parents down there, and they're very dedicated grandparents. She has like full-time child care. And I've seen like in Tallahassee, the parents will come and we'll go on dates and stuff because the parents are more than happy. They love those kids. They're all into it. Mom's an ex-kindergarten teacher. They just get off on it. But always when she's in South Florida, I don't hear from her. Like at all. As much as I would expect you, being her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So she always says, I've been busy with the kids. And that never made sense, especially 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, you know. So that was similar this time. Now we were
when did the kids go to bed normally?
8:30 or earlier. We start trying at 7:30.
So you would think she would, if she puts the kids down at 8:30, she'd be able to talk to you immediately after that.
Or during the day while they're swimming in the pool. I mean, and again, she's pissed off at me. She's actually, in retrospect, she's done with me at this point. She couldn't take it, you know. That's why I hadn't confronted her yet. I knew once I confronted her, she's going to crumble. That's too much shame, too much guilt. But this last time, we're trying to keep the relationship via email. There's 20 emails going back and forth. I'm apologizing. Why am I apologizing? I don't know, but I'm apologizing and all this stuff. So we're just trying to make it work.
Sure.
And she comes back into town. We go on a date Monday. A week ago today, we went on a date.
Okay.
And we went to see the movie Neighbors over at Movies 8. We're trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again here, you know. And we're not going to stand off because I'm not going to say she didn't do something, and she's saying I never did anything. I'm completely innocent, but she's also conceded all kinds of things in the conversation. So, you know, she doesn't know what to do. We go out to see Neighbors. Had another little squabble. Didn't go well.
What was that about?
I was just, same thing. I was just trying to say, look, let's just forgive him, forget him. Both of us will move on here, you know? But she wanted me to just roll over, and it's a little too stubborn. I didn't trust her anymore. It's damaged beyond repair, probably. But I was in love with this girl, man, so it was hard. We've been with the kids. I'm like a co-parent, basically. It was really rough.
How old are the kids?
3 and 4. Yeah, Ben and Lincoln. So the next night, and by the way, while she's in South Florida, She is completely miserable. She gets depressed, she gets anxious, and she's got her baggage. But I never, even though we didn't have much contact, I never heard her as bad as she was this trip to South Florida. I mean, this blew up her world.
And how do you know she was in a bad place?
Just because when we talked, she was just.
So she did call you like
Yeah,
later
yeah.
on.
14 days, I got 3 phone calls, but they were really. I'm a clinician. She doesn't sound good clinically. I mean, she sounded really bad. I was worried about her actually. I didn't think she was a suicide risk, but I thought she was really depressed. Is what I thought was going on. And she hates Tallahassee. I mean, I'm sure that you've heard that already. She does not want to be here, and I was the one thing that was kind of her anchor here, and boom. So this was her odd position.
Right.
So Tuesday night we go to yoga. Really awkward. Most awkward yoga. And we walk to the car, and I say, "Love you, Wendy." She goes, "I know. I need some time." I said, "Okay." And I get an email with a no contact order 2 hours later. I think her therapist suggested she do this. I think her therapist. My suspicion is that Wendy told her one side of the story, and I was cast as the abusive male because Danny is not good to her, and she's on the lookout for an abusive male. Danny was emotionally abusive. Anyway, I get this email saying, "Don't contact me for 7 days, and then I'll get in touch," which I was not happy about. But it's a control grab for me. Let's just talk or just break up with me, But anyway, so Wednesday, Thursday, hear nothing. She posts those pictures on Facebook with her boobs hanging out, and people are telling me she's messing with you on the internet. I don't know if that was true or not. And then Friday, it's happened. So I haven't heard from her. She's was supposed to contact me tomorrow. I don't think I.
How do you know she was supposed to contact you?
She said 7 days.
Okay, so that thing, the email.
Yeah, it's not contact you in 7 days.
So that you think that's something her therapist recommend her do to give her time to think? And
that's my guess.
Let the air clear a little bit.
That's my guess. If you Google it, it's how you break up with an emotionally abusive guy. You give yourself 7 days away from him so he can't convince you to stay. So that's what I saw when I Googled it, because I never heard of this. No girl's ever done that. That's bizarre, right? I mean, anyway, so that was 3 days later. This happens, Danny gets shot. So, yeah. So that's our story, and I haven't heard from her. Oh, I texted her. I called Jay McPherson, and I said, "Hey, I got a no contact thing." Part of this whole thing is to see if the guy can do it, because if the guy's really narcissistic and sociopathic, he won't be able to not contact her. He'll act out. So I said, I don't want to.
When did you contact Jane?
Contacted Jane on Saturday when I was emailed that Danny had been shot. And I called Jane, and I said, "Hey, I don't know if I should contact Wendy or not. This seems like this is way more important than a stupid no-contact email." And she said, "Yeah, just email, just text her." And I sent her just a nice text saying, "I care a lot about you and the kids. If you need anything, I know we're in a strange place, but if you need anything, please let me know. I'm always here." She didn't even text back.
When was that?
That was Saturday at 2 p.m.
Well, I mean, she's got a lot on her mind right now.
She does, but the thing was, she's texting with Jane. She's calling other people, mutual friends. She's in touch with lots of other people.
Oh, okay.
So,
well,
and it just may be too messy for her.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to.
I wouldn't take that personally.
No, I'm not.
At this point.
No, I'm not. I know she's in a mess. But I also don't expect to hear from her tomorrow either. So I've had no contact whatsoever. I sent her a book for her little kids about bereavement from Amazon, and that'd be the last contact I have.
Right, you sent a text on Saturday
2 p.m.
to her. It went unanswered.
Yep. And then I'm on the phone with Jane 5 minutes later, and Jane's like, "Oh, I'm getting a text from Wendy," so I know she was around.
And her phone was working.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
do you know if she's dating anyone else, or if there's anyone else aside from this Dan Sack guy?
I'm gonna have to speculate a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. Like I said, we're investigating any and all leads.
So if you're looking for a potential love triangle, if that's the issue, like someone that would,
we're still trying to figure all this out.
Yeah. It's weird because I don't want to sound like just like the jealous boyfriend. You know what I mean?
We're taking all that into consideration too, and I mean,
there's going to be a lot of men that are enamored of Wendy, that are really into Wendy and feel protective over Wendy, and there's a few of them. Now, I don't know which of these guys she's going to say, "Oh, that's just a friend," and that's true. I don't know. but I'm, skeptical. So I can give you some names. I'm sure you have Western report.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You say she can kind of put men under her spell.
Absolutely.
For lack of a better term.
No, it's true. It's true. I was caught, yeah.
Who's the guy that is like totally that guy, just out of sorts, not himself, would do anything for her?
See, I don't think it's like...
Do you think there's anybody like that out there?
Well, I wonder. You guys would have access to find out that I've always suspected there's a guy in South Florida because not getting my phone calls returned, all this kind of stuff. And she goes to South Florida a lot.
Okay.
And there's a weird pattern of behavior. And so my suspicion has always been that there was a guy in South Florida. I wouldn't know who that was. I can give you some other names of people that I know. Now, I don't think they would... it would be bizarre for any of the people I'm going to tell you to kill somebody because these are like highly educated, sometimes very wealthy, you know what I mean? But did they facilitate it? Were they involved? I wouldn't know. But here's a few names for you. Mehul Patel. Mehul. Patel. He's like a millionaire that runs a nonprofit. It would seem bizarre. But Wendy spent a week with him at Christmas time.
Is he here in town?
No, he's in New York City. It seems like a far-flung idea, but if you want to know who the men that love Wendy are, that's one. Wendy's also got a big mouth and tells me when men worship her, so I got a pretty good list here.
This isn't going to be like a list of 500 guys. I mean,
there's Miguel.
I mean, we're looking for viable leads. I mean, obviously, we pulled you in here today because of your relationship with her.
Sure.
But I mean, let me ask you this before I get a laundry list of guys.
Yeah, it's only 3 or 4 actually, but go ahead.
Have you ever met the victim?
Yeah. Sure.
Did you know him?
I spent 20 hours with Danny over a 9-month period in various children's functions.
When did you meet the victim?
I met the victim on January 12, 2014. Wendy and I went to a comedy show at the Bradsfordville Blues Club, and we had to switch the kids off, and he was late, and I was early.
Awkward.
Pretty awkward, yeah. And then Wendy feared him.
How do you remember that date? I mean, that was just like boom.
Because I was going through my calendar about a week ago trying to figure out how much shit she was pulling over the last 6 months. So I was just looking at the calendar trying to see how many. I was trying to get a sense of, it's actually more like a month. I was trying to get a sense of how much time is Wendy away from me. So I looked at my calendar, but I'm pretty good with names and dates and times and stuff. So
That's impressive.
Yeah, it sounds kind of creepy, probably, but when you could make that made it like a stalker to her, of course, you know.
So you met him there on the 12th.
Yeah.
And you said you met him at some various children's functions.
Well, like when he was afraid of Danny, Wendy would almost have a panic attack in front of Danny, which always made me. And Wendy's pretty closed off. She doesn't disclose information easily. I wondered if he used to beat her ass. I mean, I didn't know, you know, but it seemed out of proportion for a guy who's just kind of a general dickhead, you know what I mean? It didn't make sense. She would get heart palpitations and stuff. So every time the kids had to go sing at sing on the Capitol steps for some function, I would go to kind of be an interference, basically. So I did a lot of that. Not that many times, maybe 6 to 10 times, but whenever it was, when I wasn't working, I was able to, I did that. So Danny and I were this close to each other, probably for 20 hours over a 9-month period. We were friendly to each other. He was nice. He was condescending, but nice.
Have you ever been to his residence?
I've driven past it with Wendy because that Trescott's a shortcut through Corn, so I've driven past it 100 times, but never stopped.
Right. Can you tell me where you were, like, up to immediately after
Sure.
Friday?
Yeah, absolutely. Thursday night, I was very upset about all this, and I was going to Tennessee on Friday or Saturday. I had big plans. I called my friends, and I'm really upset. He said, "Get in your car and drive." So Thursday at 7-ish, I just started driving north on 319 to get to 75. I drove probably halfway to Tennessee, stayed in a suburb of Atlanta Thursday night. Friday, I drove to Tennessee, Harrogate, Tennessee. I just got back.
So when you drove, what'd you drive? Your vehicle?
My car, my 2004 Nissan Sentra.
And you said you stopped in a suburb of Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Where was that?
Can't remember. I stayed at a really crappy Days Inn, maybe 20 miles south of Atlanta.
$20 miles south of Atlanta.
Yeah, roughly. I could pull up a credit card receipt if you really need to know.
Paid with a credit card?
Yeah. Used my credit card on the whole trip. And I stayed with a very close friend up there and his wife. So I stayed at their house.
Okay. Okay, so if you let me get a timeline
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So Thursday you started driving. You drove up to roughly Atlanta.
Yeah, about 11:30 I pulled over. Yeah, I was getting tired.
All right, what time did you get up and leave?
Oh, I left at 9 a.m. I couldn't sleep that night. I was upset about Wendi. So I probably was up watching TV till 2:30 and I got up at 8:15 and I took a shower, got out of there at 9.
What time did you check out? 9?
I didn't check out. Just one of those crappy playback hotels. Just got out of my car. And I'm in Tennessee by 2:30. I can give you my friend's name if that helps, because he was I stayed in his house with his wife.
Sure.
His name's Jonathan Leo, Leo. He's a professor.
You have a contact number for him, just so I can verify?
Absolutely. John's the dean of students in medical school. Leo, 865-278-8690.
And who is his wife?
His wife is Susan Leo. I don't have her number. I'm going to call her. But I arrived, I remember my exact time. It's about, I went straight there, so about 2-ish.
2:30?
Yeah.
All right. Did you make any stops in between here and there? Between that
to gas up.
What was that?
I stopped somewhere on 319, I believe. Yeah, I stopped somewhere on 319 Thursday night. On Friday, I don't remember on Friday. I have to check credit card records. I can't remember if I got enough gas. I just went straight through. But I stopped at 8 at some point on Friday. So there'd be a credit card receipt of me eating somewhere between Atlanta and Tennessee. I think I stopped at McDonald's.
And then when did you start coming back?
I left Sunday at about 10:30. Stopped in Kennesaw, Georgia to stay the night with a friend and just got back. I give you their stuff if you need those. I must have.
Where'd you say that in Georgia?
Kennesaw?
Familiar.
It's Kennesaw.
Is that north of Atlanta?
I don't know. I was using GPS. Sorry. This is Lisa Barbanel. It's Lisa Johnson is her name, actually. Her number is 678-451-3969.
Give me that 678.
678-451-3969. She's a professor at Kansas State.
Okay. And then you talked to me earlier this morning, and you came straight in.
Just got her.
Straight in from there. Let's go back a minute.
Yeah.
Talk about, you told me about this Miho.
I mean, he doesn't seem like a suspect to me, but I'm just thinking if you want to know men that Wendi has spent time with that suspect there's some romantic connection, maybe a paranoid boyfriend, maybe not, I don't know, but stayed with her for a week, or stayed in Miami for a week across Christmas break, and she saw him at a conference together in March. It seems very unlikely to me. Miguel, I don't know if you know the name Miguel, her ex-boyfriend. Again, all these people are like, they're not thugs, so it'd be pretty strange, but I don't know Miguel's last name. He's like a corporate guy at Exxon, I think. He hates Danny, but so did everybody. So, you could verify on her phone the text messages from Miguel and say, screw that guy, I hate that guy,
Where'd you say it works?
I think Exxon, he's in D.C.
She up to DC a lot?
No, he just moved there. She broke up.
Her?
Yeah. No, she doesn't go to D.C. a lot. But she dated him till like June. And he was in New Orleans for the year previous, so she went up to New Orleans a lot. So.
Were you dating her in March?
Now, this is June of 2013, they broke up.
June of 2013.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so like June 2012 to June 2013, her and Miguel, or what she kept. This is why, when you talk about the men thing, I don't think you can ask Wendi who you see and expect a straight answer. I don't think you can. I think there's an investigation required because, between you and I, she got asked a deposition about Miguel, divorce deposition. Like, are you seeing anybody? They're negotiating custody. She just lied at deposition. Nobody knew about him. So she just said, no, I'm not seeing anyone. She was seeing Miguel for a year.
When was this deposition?
I don't know.
How do you know she lied about it?
She told me she did. It was hearsay, but she was not, didn't seem to even blink an eye. I said, how did you handle that issue in custody? Because you're seeing Miguel, you're negotiating custody, and it's a thing, right? And she said, oh, well, nobody knew about Miguel, so I said I didn't have a boyfriend. She did. So I'm sure that deposition's available to you. And when we started having the fight about Daniel Sack, she wiped her phone of every message about Sack. That's nothing to do with this, I don't think. So if I snooped, I wouldn't find anything.
Right.
But given the pattern of behavior, I just wouldn't be shocked if there is a guy in South Florida. There's another guy I don't even know about in town. I just wouldn't blow my mind, I mean, Wendi, she's a clinical instructor at the law school. She teaches 2 days a week from 12 to 2, 10 to 2, something like that. And she has tasks to do. She works. She has an awful lot of flexibility in her schedule. From 9 to 5, I wouldn't know what she was doing most days, So.
You think there's anybody that could have been obsessed with her? That she may have vented her frustration about Daniel to?
You mean Markel, right? Danny Markel.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder about, I'm just speculating, this last trip in South Florida. This is really strange to me. We have a huge fight, and she's a very fragile person. I've been keeping her shit together for 9 months, and it's been a very unhealthy relationship. She really can't do life very well. It's kind of sad. And she gets by being really attractive and all this kind of stuff, but day-to-day life, she's independent. She needs a whole lot of help. So we had that huge fight. It was pretty devastating, or completely devastating. So she goes to South Florida for 15 days, 14 days. With that on her mind, comes back, cuts out contact with me, and then this happens. It's just real strange to me, real strange. So I don't know. I have something I want to tell you, but I want it off there. I'm more concerned about my safety with what I'm going to tell you, to be honest. So how do we do that? Because it's just speculation, but Danny Markel just got fucking killed, and I don't want to be next. I'm sorry if that sounds paranoid, but I do have some ideas.
Do you think there's some kind of correlation between Danny Markel and you that would make you an intended target of something?
I think there's two theories here. When I heard the news, I had thought of three things. First, I thought Markel killed himself. He's been trying to punish Wendi for 2 years. This is the ultimate punishment. He's a narcissist, all that. I assume you guys eliminated that. I haven't read the paper. There was a suicide. Second thing was what you're talking about. Love triangle, that kind of thing. Third thing, some family members that are pretty protective of her and want her to live in South Florida. And that, I'm not talking about without some assurances, because there's some creepy stuff there. I don't know if there's anything to it. You guys could discover there's a meth head that killed him tomorrow. I get that. But there's some stuff on the family that...
Here's the thing, Jeff. I mean, we're outsiders looking in.
Yeah.
So any kind of insider perspective that you would have being on the inside, I'm welcome to hear.
Yeah.
And we'll entertain.
I know you entertain it, but I don't want it. I can't have this attributed to me. Can't. And if we have to do some end around, or you have to put me under oath, whatever you have to do, I want to help you guys find whoever did this. This is terrible. I didn't like Danny, but no one deserves this, you know?
Right.
On the other hand, if my theory was right, I would be, I probably sound paranoid, but. So how do we handle that? You said we could have something like director, and how do you do that?
Let's wait till the end. We'll get to that.
Okay. So I guess another thing I would say is just generally, the family desperately wants her back in South Florida.
When you say the family, are you meaning mom and dad and grandma and grandpa? Who do you mean by family?
People that live in South Florida. Yeah, mother, father, and she has a brother. So the three people down in South Florida that...
What's her brother's name?
Charlie Adelson. He's a dentist.
And again, I'm not the lead investigator on this, so I don't know all of the players. As it relates. I didn't interview Wendi.
Gotcha.
So I'm kind of putting some of this together myself.
I got you.
As well, we're running concurrent investigation down different paths.
Of course.
Do you know if she's got any other family besides her mom and dad and her brother?
She has an older brother that lives in Albany, New York. They don't have a good relationship. I can't imagine he'd be involved. He's an orthopedic surgeon. It wouldn't make any sense.
What's his name?
Rob. He's estranged from the family, basically. He was there for 2 of the 14 days she was there. The visit went really bad. He was really rude to the family. Wendi is attractive enough that wouldn't be shocking to me. I get to see someone doing something crazy for her. Yeah, what I can't see her doing is asking, saying, hey, kill him. You know what I mean? But I don't know Wendi that well, as it turns out anyway, so I don't know even that kind of thing. As far as that, she never took me to South Florida with her even once. Oh, she did once. We spent 1 day down there with her brother. But she's been there. If you looked at the calendar, she was there July 1st to 14th. She was there Father's Day. She was there one time in between. I mean, she goes there a lot. So.
What did you think of her brother?
Her brother is an unusual guy. Not much empathy. He's a dentist and he's very wealthy, but he kind of hangs out with people from both sides of the tracks. And, he goes boating in South Beach with his rich buddies, and he also goes to his gym with some other kinds of characters kind of thing. So
some less savory individuals?
I think so. Yeah, he's got a buddy who was Special Forces.
Okay. You talked about a couple of guys. You talked about Miguel and the Patel individual, and you said there was 3 or 4 total.
I'm just trying to think. Hold on. That might be it, actually. But yeah, Daniel, that was 3. Daniel Sack. I can't imagine any of those people had anything to do with this, but those are people that were... I don't know anything about Sack's relationship. Miguel and Mahul definitely really into Wendi, obviously. So.
And you said that you'd never been to Danny's house.
No, never.
Never been to his house.
Drove past it 100 times, but never stopped.
And you've never had any kind of physical contact with Danny.
No. I'm surprised you guys didn't call me earlier, though, because I probably said 100 times in public that I like to kick his ass, because he's like really making Wendy suffer and things like that.
Right.
but no, I would never. I'm a professor. I'm not a pussy. I'm not going to do anything like that.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. Would you be willing to give us a sample of your DNA on your consent
100%.
for elimination purposes?
No problem.
I don't even know if the lead investigator wants it or
I'll
not.
do it. I'm not going to find it.
I'm just seeing.
Pay that in credit cards. I mean, I'm not involved. It's obvious, so I'll do whatever you want.
Let me go see if I can talk about this off the record thing with
Okay.
my supervisor.
Okay.
See how she wants to handle that.
Okay.
And then if you'll just hang tight, are you good?
I'm fine, Joe. I'm fine. Just stay
Okay.
right now.
Hey, Jeff, this is
Hi, Investigator Isom. Tell us, please.
I'm Jeff. How are you?
Jeff.
Yeah.
he's the lead investigator.
Okay.
I'm gonna let him talk to you for
Okay.
a minute. I'm gonna go run and try and find my supervisor
Okay.
and talk to her about your request.
Okay. Appreciate it.
All right. I'll be right back.
I'm here.
Okay. Corey said you were in Tennessee.
I was in Tennessee.
You had some type of relationship with Wendy.
I was her boyfriend until very recently.
Okay.
So, well, we're trying to. Last Tuesday, she sent me an email and said I need a week to think. We were having problems. And,
Sorry.
no problem.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Bye. Sorry. Go ahead.
No,
It's going to keep going. So
that's
just
okay. Fine. We had a fight in late June. She was gone for 15 days to South Florida. She came back. We tried to reconnect. She said, I need a week to think. And that was last Tuesday. She sent me an email and said, hey, give me a week. Don't contact me, please. And this happened Friday. So,
the Tuesday before this is when she sent you the email.
yeah. We had dates on Monday and Tuesday. And after the second date, she sent me an email and said, don't contact me for a week. So,
Okay. Did she specify why?
I think it was something that her therapist and her came up with. She was a little confused. We had a lot of problems, so it was probably dying. But
Who's the therapist?
Kristen, I can't remember her last name. First name Kristen. She's over there in Midtown.
Did you go on there too?
Yeah, she didn't want to go. Me. Then there'd be 2 points of view.
How do you spell your last name again?
Lacasse.
Okay, so what made you leave? Were you at a pre-planned trip? Just
Had a pre-planned trip, and I was upset because it's not good when you get an email from your girlfriend and you love telling you don't contact me for a week. I was like, oh fuck, this is no good, you know. So Thursday night I just took off driving. I was like, oh my friends, I'm coming early, so I just took off Thursday night at about 7.
okay. Are these professional people?
They are. I'm a professor at FSU, and the guy I went to go see is the professor at medical school up there. So.
Okay. Just are you Jewish?
No.
Okay.
All my friends are though. For some reason.
Yeah. I'm starting to find out more and more.
There's like 100 of them in all town.
Right. Yeah. I think I'll probably meet all of them before it's over with.
I bet you will.
Okay, so everything's fine Monday and Tuesday, but I'm
Well, it's not fine. We had a huge fight at the end of June.
End of June. Okay.
Yeah, and then she went to South Florida for 14 days. It was really bad timing because we had the worst fight we've ever had. I thought she was seeing other people. She said she wasn't. She's real fragile, so she took it really badly. And she went to South Florida for 14 days. Didn't hear from her much while she was there. She came back. We tried to reconnect. That was last Monday and Tuesday. We had dates Monday and Tuesday. And the second date, she was done, it seemed like. But that's when I got that email right after that date.
Okay.
So it's really sad.
You care about it a lot?
Oh, yeah. Love with that girl. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that's spent more time with Wendi in the last 9 months than me.
What about the sack guy? What's the story with him?
She wouldn't tell me. That's what the fight was about.
Oh.
So I don't know.
You know him?
Met him in a coffee shop for 10 seconds one time. I walked in on him having coffee together. That's what the fight's all about. So.
She thought you were stalking her or something? Yes, sir. Yeah, well. One 9848. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. It's just the reason it came to light was because of that case. When was that? Is it intact cartridge? I think it's going to be an intact unfired cartridge. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, that's how she ended up seeing it, I think, with the help of her therapist. That was just me walking into All Saints coincidentally, but I looked through her calendar to see if she was seeing this guy. So once I did that, she was like scandalized by it. So
Okay.
he was throughout the calendar. I was like, okay, well, there we go.
So you're seeing Stack.
Sick. I don't know what kind of relationship they have. For all I know, they were platonic friends. I don't have any data. You know what I mean?
He was a professional.
He's a professor at Amherst. He just moved to Massachusetts. It would be bizarre if he was a suspect. But if you want to know the names of the people she's involved with, that's one of the people.
Okay. All right. Who do you think is involved in this? You know some of the background, I'm sure, by now.
Yeah, I know pretty well.
Okay. You know that her ex-husband has been murdered.
I do.
Okay. I'm sure you've talked to people or social media.
I've been out of town, so I haven't heard everything, but I'd had one 15-minute conversation with a friend, and I certainly know that Danny, Markel, and Wendy's story. I've been living through all this courtship with her for the last 9 months, you know. So.
Okay, so it's pretty contentious between the two of them.
Yeah, Danny was not very nice. I mean, I'm sorry he's dead. No one deserves this, but I don't know if you guys had a chance to read the court pleadings he filed, but they're almost insane. I mean,
really? I have not read them.
You got to look at those. I mean, they are. It seems like an insane person.
Okay.
They're like this thick, and he tries to get Wendy disbarred. And he calls her name. I mean, it's the rantings of a lunatic, basically. But every time she got one of these, she would melt down for like 2 weeks. And he was constantly manipulating the legal system to keep her in stress, and he was punishing her very effectively. So yes, certainly there's a motive for someone that wants to. And also, Wendy didn't want to be in Tallahassee. I mean, she wanted to live in South Florida.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what was interesting was I was probably the only thing in Tallahassee. I hope this doesn't sound totally narcissistic, but we were doing well. She's like, yeah, I'll stay here in Tallahassee for you, because I have to, because Markel's got this custody.
Right. She can't leave.
She can't leave the beach. In terms of liking Tallahassee, I don't think she liked much about Tallahassee except dating me. I mean, she did not like it.
Okay.
And then we broke up. Then this happens. It's kind of strange.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Just the timing's
Right.
weird to me. When I heard, I was like, wait a damn second.
Okay. Well, hypothetically, if that is the case, she breaks up with you. From what you're saying, it sounds kind of permanent. You know.
Yeah,
but
well, actually, I was waiting to hear when this happened, so I don't know.
Because she said, "Give me a week," or "Let me have a week," or "I need to leave me alone for a week," or whatever. Did you respond to that request?
I know. No way. I was hoping to get her back, so I
mean, did you respond to the email?
No, she said, "I will take your silence as an agreement."
Oh, that was the ending.
And that's what the therapist does. Is like, see if you can have good boundaries. You know, it's that kind of thing. I was like, I'll leave her alone. I did call when this happened. I called her friend Jay McPherson and said, "Hey, can I send Wendy a text or something?" I was worried about her. So I just sent her a 1-paragraph text and never got a response. I haven't heard from her. So.
Okay, what did you fly? I guess you drove.
I drove my car, yeah.
What kind of car do you have?
2004 Nissan Sentra.
And that was something I was going to kind of clear up. I was looking at my notes here. You said Thursday you drove north in the vehicle. What time did you head out of here?
About 7. And I would have got gas.
7 p.m.
Yeah, I would have got gas by 8 or 9, and I would have checked into the hotel by 11:30. I was getting tired, and then I would have been on the road the next day. I would have done a McDonald's by 1 in the afternoon. A couple hours north of Atlanta is my guess. I could check credit cards or whatever I need.
What's the color of this 2004?
Metallic gray.
You got any receipts with you?
Don't have receipts. You got a laptop, you got a computer I can put me in front of. I can show you all my credit card stuff, you know.
Oh, you do it on the phone?
Oh, you know what? I can put up my app. I can show you.
Who do you have credit card service with?
Capital One is the one I was using most. I also got a SunTrust thing.
Which one do you use for your trip, though?
Well, I would use both depending. Whichever one I grab. But I will pull this up for you. Hold on. Okay. Recent activity. So take a look. I guess I won't have time. So it's got dates.
Is this through your bank?
No, that's just Capital One.
So Capital One sends you this, or you just pull it up?
It's an app on the phone.
Okay.
So that's my statement.
Can you go further back?
Yeah.
As far as
What date are we looking at? What date are you guys interested in? 20th or 21st?
18th.
18th, sorry.
I'll be right back.
One other piece of detail that might help. I got a flat tire in between South Atlanta and Tennessee.
Okay.
And I got it around Athens, Georgia. And I don't see it on here yet. Oh, I paid him cash. I had cash on me. It was this good old boy. He said cash is fine. So, cost me $60. I had to get 2 new tires put on my car. There's a tire shop there. Actually, this is it right. I'll go down here. And there's my days in. It's the 18th you're interested in?
Oh, yeah. That was the day of the event.
Yeah, I only got. That was the Kmart. I went to Kmart while I was waiting for my car. So anyway,
What was the name of the tire shop?
Shit, I couldn't tell you. I think the wrecking was Ray or Roy's wrecking. Yeah, that held me up a couple hours. Miller Tire.
What is it?
Miller Tire. Yeah, that would be Miller Tire, and that would be it's one of those off ramps off the 75. I don't know what the name of the town is, but it's by Athens. And that would have been about
What day was that?
that's the it's the 18th. Yeah. Let me find out what time it was for you. Because I texted my friend to say I had a flat.
So if you get up at 9 a.m. and you're in Tennessee by 2:30,
Well, got my flat at 12:30. So I gave you an earlier time. I didn't get to Tennessee. So I got the flat at 12:30. Forgot about that. I'm planning to get there by 2:30. I probably didn't get there till 4:15. So yeah, Miller Tire, and I think Roy's wrecking. I'm going to try to find what the wreck shop was.
sure.
Let you guys kind of document all this.
I talked to my boss as far as whatever you wanted to talk about off the record,
Yeah.
and she gave me the answer that I kind of expected she would, and ultimately it depends on what it is you're going to say. Because if it's something that's instrumental to the investigation, it can't really be off the record because, I mean, we're trying to solve a guy's homicide here.
I know. It's hearsay. It's tertiary hearsay. I don't know if that's useful to you.
Yeah.
I tell you something. Somebody told me. Somebody else told me.
Yeah, I mean, and you'd have to tell me what it was, and I would have to say, okay, is this something that can be excluded from the report, or is it something that's inculpatory? Is it something that...
Maybe I can just make it simpler than that. Maybe I could just say, I would be investigating Charlie Adelson.
Okay.
Maybe it's that simple.
What makes you say that?
Um,
And again, and here's another thing. We're talking to a lot of people
sure you
here,
are. Sure you are.
and you know, you're just telling us what you think,
Sure.
and everybody else is doing the same
Of
thing,
course. I don't-
and that's
right.
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is just get all the puzzle pieces before we start trying to put the puzzle together.
Yeah.
We're still in the stages of getting all the pieces.
I got you.
So why do you think it would be pertinent for us to investigate Charlie?
He's very angry about Danny. And if you met, I know he's down there, you can't get him in front of you, but you're, experienced investigator. If you got in front of this guy, he'd set off your radar, set off mine. I used to do juvenile justice, I used to do forensic psychiatry. He set off my radar a little bit. He's a weird guy. Strange guy. He's a conduct disorder kid. And he hates Danny. And see if I can put it a little vaguely. Or not, but just enough to be useful here.
Let's not put it vague. Let's go with what you know specifically.
Wendi had reported to me that Charlie had considered all the options possible to take care of this problem. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And when she said it,
when did she disclose this to you?
I don't remember when, but she said it was chilling because she said, "Can I tell you something confidentially?" And I said, "Sure." She said, "I think Charlie kind of looked into some options, like literally saw how and why, how you would do this if you did it. I think this was last summer when she had her petition to relocate denied. That family wants her back there so bad."
This is when she disclosed this to you, was last summer?
No. This is when
Charlie
had been examining all the options.
Okay.
He's a very successful dentist, but he reeks of antisocial behavior. Now, I could be 100% wrong, but I wouldn't want to miss that if I was investigating it. He's got a close friend who's a ex-special forces guy, like a Navy SEAL or something he hangs out with all the time.
What did she say to you specifically? I mean, when you say
she said, Charlie. I can't remember exactly, but it had something to do with the amount of money it would cost to have someone killed.
And what did she say?
Something like Charlie looked into how much it would cost to have someone killed. Something like that. Some statement like that. I can't remember.
Did she give you a dollar amount?
But that's the other thing. He's a dentist, but he's an independent businessman. He has a bunch of practices, and he's a Ferrari. I think he's a millionaire, all this kind of stuff. So he has a lot of resources. And this might screw them. From me talking to him myself in the hot tub one time, a few things Wendi said.
When was this?
March 15th-ish. I was there for the one day with him. I stayed at his house.
Of this year?
Yes. Wendi and him were talking. I'm just listening. I just met him an hour earlier. We're sitting in the hot tub having a beer. It's a really nice house. And I guess this is what occurred.
Was anybody else in the hot tub with you guys?
Not during this part of the conversation. Another guy, his roommate, came in eventually, and they just started to talk about girls and stuff like that. But and I'm not trying to play cop here, but I do know one thing you'd be looking for is a lump sum of money moving around and some kind of crazy stuff happened. And I think there's a lot of financial irregularities. I think there's a lot of tax fraud kind of stuff and putting stuff in different people's names and moving money around, and there might be I don't know exactly what, but he's not doing anything on the up and up in his finances. It was pretty clear. He was pretty open about that. So I thought about if you guys do look into it, I don't know that.
How the exact conversation in the hot tub go?
He was just talking about, I put that in Dad's name, I put that in Mom's name, and it was just clear that
hiding resources.
Yeah.
Monetary resources.
Yeah. So if you have to do an investigation, that's something you guys should know, because I think there's a lot of, I don't know if it's illegal, but I know there's a lot of, he plays the system, This guy's so inappropriate. We're sitting, please don't write this down. He's so inappropriate. We're sitting in the hot tub, and he starts talking about sex acts with his girlfriend that he did to punish her for bad behavior in front of his sister. And I didn't know what to do. I just met him, protected with my girlfriend. This is just so weird, It's like this guy's, his social radar is way off. His sense of right or wrong, just norms is just off. He set off my radar. Now, I don't know if he did this. If you're looking at somebody, don't miss him. And I could also see him doing this without ever telling Wendi he didn't do it. I could see Wendi being innocent, puzzled, and Charlie did. I can totally see that scenario. He's very protective of her. I think that's more likely than romantic. All the romantic couplings are with highly educated, high elite status men.
You don't want to throw that away.
They've got a lot to lose. I mean, she doesn't slum that I know of at all. She doesn't.
Well, I mean, this Charlie guy's a millionaire by your own admission. So
Yes. Well, he is. He's got this buddy.
he's got a lot to lose.
He does. He does. He's also really cocky and arrogant and narcissistic. So, I wish you had him in front of you because I think he'd set off your alarm bells. That doesn't mean he did it, but he's aggressive. He's argumentative. Focused on himself completely. He's got 3 girlfriends at a time, which some people do that, I know, but no qualms about it, you know.
So you think he may be good for it?
Jimmy, this isn't a botched burglary or something like that. He's the first. It probably popped into my head within 20 seconds of hearing this. I mean, there's all kinds. Just to give you some context that may be helpful. Last summer, when they were trying to figure out how to manipulate this divorce or work the divorce, I guess, so they could get it's a bad fight, all this kind of stuff. They were talking about Wendi converting the kids to Christianity just to annoy Daddy. I mean, this has been a pitched battle, I mean, we fed the kids bacon regularly. He tries to keep them kosher. There's all kinds of passive aggressive shit going on here, So the family is important that you know this, actually, man. The family is so unhealthily enmeshed, so completely enmeshed, that Wendi is not really an adult. When she drives to South Florida, every single time those 2 parents drive up here and drive with her down. They don't trust her to drive from Tallahassee to Miami. It's not a normal family. It's not like she's a 35-year-old that has 2 kids and come down to see us. It's complete enmeshment. It's a matter of they've infantilized her. She's considered the baby still. She's 35 years old. Charlie protects her. So I don't know if this could be a bizarre fantasy. I know you guys are hearing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I hope to God it wasn't Charlie, honestly, but that's what popped into my head.
Right. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
I got stuff happening everywhere.
I just spit it all out. So
Did you really? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Who did it?
He's thinking, her brother Charlie could be a viable suspect. I mean, I don't know if we've ruled him out or not.
Nobody's ruled out.
I don't think Charlie would have done it, by the way. But he's one of these. He's a real rich guy, but he's got friends on both sides of the tracks, and he's real street smart. He's always trading and stuff like that, and got this buddy that's in the special forces, and so he's like a dentist, but he's hanging out with guys that different social class actually, and kind of antisocial, impulsive, angry, fiercely protective of Wendi. And I've heard him say, I'd like to kill that motherfucker. I mean, I've heard him say that so many times. Now, I said that out loud, too, and I didn't do it. But there's something different about Charlie. He reminds me of like an antisocial.
Charlie's an older brother?
Yeah.
She's the baby girl?
She's the baby girl.
Is Charlie older or younger than this one up in Albany?
He's the middle kid, I think.
Charlie is?
Yeah. If you had him in front of you, he'd set off your alarm bells.
Okay.
Doesn't mean he did it, but...
No, I know that, but why? Okay, all right. So you're basically saying out of, what's his name up in Albany?
Yeah, Rob, no way.
He's the oldest?
Yeah, he's the oldest, yeah.
Out of Charlie, Mom, Dad, who else is there?
It's just Charlie, Mom, Dad. Down there, that's
okay.
it. That's it.
All right, out of those 3, you're saying Charlie would be the most volatile to do something? What would he do?
He'd get his buddy in the special forces to do this, or he'd get some seedy guys down in the Cuban neighborhood or something like that. That's what he would do. Something like that. I mean, the main thing I told him was that Wendi had told me that he had looked into how much it would cost last summer.
Wendi told you that?
She did.
That Charlie had looked into how much it would cost.
Yeah.
So...
She said it in a dead serious, chilling, uncomfortable kind of way. Not like I joke around and like to kill Dan Mark. I was sick of his shit. That's different. This was like, she said confidentially.
Okay, so you and her one-on-one?
One-on-one, late at night, and...
What you supposed to have?
It was late at night, and she told me that. This last summer when her petition to relocate was about to be denied.
Oh, because she wanted to take the kids out.
Well, they want her down there so bad. The family's so enmeshed, so tight, so unhealthy. She's like the baby. So, if you met Charlie, he's an unusual guy.
Okay.
No.
So if you just so I understand, and I don't misinterpret,
Yeah.
what exactly, how did she say it, and what did she exactly say?
Yeah, and I want to remember, but something like I said. We're also talking about us, because I was like, would you ever leave under any circumstances? Yeah, I know you don't love it here. Am I going to be dating you for 2 years and you just move? She's like, I can't because of Danny. And she said, yeah, it doesn't matter. Something about it would be convenient if Danny wasn't around anymore. But, once he doesn't want anything to happen to him or something like that. She said, but Charlie actually looked into how that would be done and how much it would cost. She might have said, I think, Charlie. I don't remember. But it was chilling. In the moment, I was like, my stomach flipped. I was like, whoa.
The crux of the statement is my brother Charlie has looked into how much it would cost to
take care of somebody.
take care.
This guy has very little empathy. He's just a weird guy. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying if you're looking at somebody, you can't miss Charlie. I think that's more likely than a romantic thing.
Well, that's you.
Yeah, it's not me.
The other guy's gone. Zach, wherever
he's gone.
He's gone to.
And by the way, make sure that she saw Zach once a week for 20 minutes of sex. I don't know the relationship. I don't know what kids learn about me. So I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry. Size. Yeah. What? I don't have time for her. I said great. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. Bye.
Before I forget, the other thing is that I didn't know about Zach for 9 months, and I was with boyfriend for 6. So I was telling him, I've always suspected there's a guy in South Florida I would know about. Maybe that's just a paranoid boyfriend. I wouldn't believe Wendy when she says, "What Jeff?" Yeah, you got to start at the ground zero. She lies. I mean, there's been a lot of men since September. Over me. So, So I just wonder if there's a guy in South Florida. She always drops out of sight when she's down there. Phone calls not returned. Voicemail.
Did you go down there?
She doesn't let me go. That's why I think there's a guy down there.
Okay. Did Charlie come up here?
Charlie never comes up here.
Okay, how did you meet Charlie then?
Oh, I went to Charlie. I met Charlie one time. I went down there one time for one day.
Okay.
We were in Immokalee and we just drove over and spent an evening with him. So I spent 4 hours with Charlie.
What are you doing in Immokalee? I know where that is.
Yeah, alternative spring break for FSU kids.
Okay.
So we're helping out the farm workers and stuff.
Okay.
So we spent a night in a hot tub with Charlie, and that was it. But I've always told him, I always suspected that I'm the paranoid ex-boyfriend, so right. But she goes to South Florida an awful lot.
Okay.
She's always a little weird when she comes back, romantically and stuff like that. So I just always kind of suspected. So I wouldn't. Obviously, the connection is now she can go to South Florida.
Right.
I mean.
No, we see that part.
Yeah.
Who's this Green Beret? Did you say?
And that I don't know anything about this guy. I just know that on Facebook there's a lot of pictures of him, and Wendy's told me stories about him. I guess the point is that Charlie doesn't just hang out with other dentists. He hangs out with all kinds of people. So it's not like he's some snobby dentist that's not going to hang out. This guy did 5 years in Afghanistan, so it just popped into my head.
Charlie did?
No, Charlie's friend did.
Was Charlie in the military?
No, he's a dentist. He's a dentist. So. But when Charlie talks, he talks about cross-section of people. I mean, he has friends all across the spectrum, including, some unsavory characters.
Let's go back to the statement that she made. I just want to clarify the stuff. She tells you, she goes, yeah, my brother, I think the phone was going off. Yeah, my brother has checked, or my brother has something along those lines, has has inquired as to how much it would cost?
Something like that. I can't give you an exact quote. It might have been bad. I think Charlie, here's an example. She might have said, I think Charlie might have looked into how much it cost to actually have that done. He's down there in Miami when it's not unheard of. Something like that.
All right.
It just had crossed Charlie's mind. Bottom line, it occurred to Charlie that was one way to take care of the problem.
And he wants to help Sis?
He is fiercely protective of her. He wants her back in South Florida so bad. The whole family does. She never, you guys know the background? She never wanted to be here, ever. I mean, she came here with Markel. They're supposed to be here a year, then move on. He had a job at Miami. He was an asshole, so he lost it. He said, no, go back to FSU and stay there. They're stuck here. So he's doing great. He's the Sandy Dillenberg professor of law and all that stuff. Wendy gets a shitty job that she doesn't really like, doesn't like the area. She's doing her best to make it work. She hates it. Never wanted to live here. Never thought she'd live here.
This is all from her, right?
Yeah, it's all straight from her. Are you kidding me? I'm her boyfriend trying to convince her this is a great place to stay. Get a new attitude. This is a daily conversation, I'm like, I love Tallahassee. Moved here on purpose. So it's a daily conversation. Like, look, Waco was pretty, that kind of stuff,
And her whole thing is, no, I still don't.
Because I'm trying, but it's, I didn't choose it.
Okay.
I didn't choose it, and that makes it hard. That daily.
I didn't choose it, and that makes it hard.
And she loves Miami. She just loves it. When we're down there, she just lights up. It's a whole different thing.
Is it Miami or Fort Lauderdale?
It's Coral Springs, but it's Miami.
Okay.
It's Miami.
So, so a daily thing is you're trying to tell her how great this area is and so forth, and she's basically putting it down, and I'm stuck here. My husband didn't want it or couldn't keep the job at UM.
He screwed
UM or Nova.
It was UM. Yeah.
And he screwed that up.
Yeah. He was so abrasive. I'm sure you heard a lot about that. He was so abrasive that they're like, "You're a great scholar. We don't want to put up with your butt every day. So get out of here."
Okay.
He had to work pretty hard to lose that job.
Okay. What was the reason? I mean, I know that there was some type of contention, and I don't know if it was the child rearing, or do you know that?
I can tell you anything you want to know about that. I've read every legal document that.
No. What did she personally tell you?
Tell me about child rearing?
Well, the reason for their divorce. How did she get to this point?
Danny was. Give you a couple examples of Markel. They would drive from here to Miami as a family. This is before they had kids, but even as a family, both. Danny would work on his computer. He had one of those converters, so he could plug your laptop in. Wendy was required to drive, and Wendy was required not. That's the thing. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Say again? Okay. Do you have Couch's number? Yeah, I'm going to have him. I'm busy right now. I'm going to have him meet, and then I'm going to talk to him when they're done downstairs or wherever they do the buckle. Are you already on the second floor? Okay, just get Couch. He's waiting for you. Thanks.
Anyway, Markel's rule was, you may not speak. Tallahassee to Miami.
From Tallahassee to Miami.
And she said she would be like, Dick, I'm working. He's a total control freak, emotionally abusive, controlled the finances, just ran her shit. And I don't know if he hit her or not, but I can tell you, if you just raise your voice to her like that, she flinches like she's got her ass kicked yesterday. So I've wondered about violence. I don't know. She says no, but people lie. Wendy lies a lot. So he was pretty mean to her. And as she went to get married, every friend she had was begging her, don't marry this guy. He's the biggest asshole we've ever met. And she got caught up in the Harvard law and elitism and all this kind of stuff. And she was in a bad place. Made a bad decision, got married to a guy. I just got divorced last year, so I understand.
Oh, you did?
I got married to the wrong woman, too, so I get it. That's how we bonded, actually. Picked the wrong people before. So it was a bad marriage from day one. I mean, pretty much. According to her, at least. By the second year, it was awful. And then having kids will fix it. People try that. So he's also an absent father. I mean, he came home 9 o'clock every night, she claims. And that would play with the kids for 10 minutes. That was it. She did everything. Kind of like a house slave. And then when he went to go get divorced, he tried to get 100% custody of the kids. So if you read these legal documents that he's filed, they'll keep, I don't know if you're read it, but they give you insight into, it's pretty crazy.
I haven't had the time, but I will.
Yeah, it's a lot of lunacy shines through.
But I'm sure he had his side of it too.
I'm sure he did, and well, that's what I wonder about is with all the stuff I talked about with Wendi with me. I mean, he was controlling. Well, maybe he's trying to keep his wife in control. I don't know.
Right.
But you must have heard. Don't want to speak ill of the dead. He wasn't well liked. It's bizarre to open up the paper and see all these comments about how a great guy he was. I know one person in my social circle, Alan Grossman, that was reasonably friendly with him. Everyone else says that guy's the son.
How do you know Al?
He's friends with Tomi Gomori, who's a professor with me at Florida State. I know Alan 10, 15 years.
Was Al in education?
No, they're just friends. They're Jewish. It's all Jewish.
Oh,
it's all
okay.
Jewish
Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
You're hovering around.
I'm an honorary Jew, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know what they call me.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know the truth about their marriage, but I do know that it was really, really hard on Wendi. And when we got to the legal stuff, he was vicious. He was really vicious. So.
Anything? Did she ever tell you anything concerning any incidents when Danny and Charlie were together, or Danny and any other family? I mean, was it kind of like, hey, Danny, you sleep over here in doghouse or something? You don't.
No. It was more like the family hate. This is why she didn't introduce me to her parents. She said last time that it was so awkward because it went so badly because they all hated Danny. Charlie hated Danny. Her parents hated Danny.
Do you know why?
He is in person. He is so arrogant. He was so unlikable. He would just talk down to people. He was one of these Harvard guys.
Okay.
And it was just like, when I met him in an awkward meeting, I was early. I was late. He was early, and we met for the first time. He insulted me 3-4 times in
Really?
10 sentences, just in subtle, like, haughty, snobby kind of ways. Like, oh, are you a lawyer? And just little comments here and there. So he was passive aggressive about it. He wasn't in your face. He wasn't yelling, but he insulted. He would just tell you, say you're stupid.
Okay.
I mean, that's just how he talked. He thought he should do.
He's basically subtly insulting you the entire conversation.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, as far as Wendi and him, he did all kinds of little things to intimidate her. I don't know if he knew he was doing it, but she was scared of him. I would go with her to tell him. I would go with her to functions that he was at to kind of reassure her and run interference because she would get heart palpitations and stuff around him. And it seemed completely out of the scope of normal. I got an ex-wife. I can get in front of her. Not a big deal.
Right.
For her, it was like, will you please come with me to soccer practice or whatever it was? So, swim lessons 3 weeks ago. Will you come with me to swim lessons because Danny's going to be there? And she would just freak out.
Did you go?
I did go.
Was he there?
Yeah, he was there.
Was everything okay between you and him?
Well, yeah, everything was fine. We kind of moved through a phase where first we were real friendly, shaking hands, and then we got like, hey, I'm not going to shake your hand. We're on different sides of this thing, that kind of thing. But it was always reasonably friendly.
Did she introduce you to him
Yeah.
as your boyfriend, your current boyfriend?
No.
Friend?
I don't remember what she said. This was Jeff, I think.
Okay.
That was a point of contention between us. She didn't call me her boyfriend until very recently. So
Okay.
I think because she might have had other ones. I think that might have been the issue.
Okay.
Maybe Dan Sack was also a boyfriend.
Okay.
But again, I don't know anything about their relationship. I just know that she wouldn't help me anything.
And you found out?
I snooped through her agenda and found out, yeah. Well, she also told me about his existence, but
You snooped through her agenda?
I did.
Oh, on her book?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you get shocked when you see that, look at that stuff.
Well, I was about ready to leave anyway at the time, so it was like, why not?
Oh, because there was strife between you?
It was.
Okay.
Well, she told me about him, and then gave me a bullshit story about him. I asked her she did when we first started seeing each other. She started talking about him. I said, when did you stop seeing him? And she said, November. And I was like, it's not true. I could smell that guy in February. What are you talking about?
Okay.
So anyway, it turned into a thing. But I just want to emphasize, I don't want to be like the bitter ex-boyfriend trying to bitch on Daniel Sack because I'd be shocked if he had anything to do with it.
Yeah. It's all his. Did you already go through I think I missed the credit card stuff. Got all the timestamps.
We actually got distracted and we didn't go through
Yeah.
all of that stuff. But he said he had a flat tire right outside of Athens, and they kind of brought him in later.
Yeah, I got
What he
415,
initially said.
but I did have a flat tire outside of Athens. I was stuck there for maybe.
He does have can you show him a receipt
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
Miller's tire shop there?
I didn't know credit cards wouldn't have times on them. That's interesting.
We already got his phone number.
Yes.
Is there anything else I can do? I just don't think there's
He did say he was willing to give buckle if you need it or want it. Is that something you want to do?
I can call him back. We have his phone number.
Yeah.
And the guy drives in from Georgia, Tennessee, whatever, and comes straight here from what I understand, what you told me.
I didn't do it.
Okay.
It's probably just give it a second here. I guess the thing that keeps popping up in my head is, don't write this down, but just so you know, if you're investigating, I've been shocked how easily Wendi lies to my face. I've been dating 25 years. I'm not an inexperienced man out there, but her and Charlie both have this sociopathic kind of thing where it doesn't seem to bug them at all. So if you had her in front of you for 9 hours.
Are her parents from the United States?
They are first generation. I think their parents were Holocaust kind of things. So yeah. And they're weird, but I don't have a time imagine being involved. But they are strange people.
Right.
I mean, in 9 months of dating her, they probably said 20 words.
Okay.
This is not coming up.
Okay. I tell you what. Let's just do this.
Okay.
When you get your paper copies,
Okay.
send them to Corey for me,
I will.
and then.
If you can give me an email address, I can send them to you.
Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that way.
That's my name and contact.
I will just-
My email's in there as well.
And all we basically are doing is we're substantiating. We do this with everybody. You're
Yeah,
not
of
the
course.
first in this
Of
case.
course.
We're just substantiating. This was his whereabouts according to his financial records. He was traveling. He was not in town.
Yeah.
Yes, he's her former boyfriend, but this is where he was at according to his financial records.
Of course.
So that's all we basically want to do. And it's basically we eliminate, and then we get down to who we're really looking at.
Yeah.
You understand. This is not brain surgery or anything, but I'm trying to think of anything else I could ask you at this time, and
I'd be willing to come back. I just don't want to spend more time with Wendi if there's anything.
Here's another thing that I typically ask people. Is there anything that you didn't disclose that maybe we didn't ask that you think is of note or is important? Because a lot of times you've thought about this just as much as we have.
So
I mean, you got a whole trip to think about and analyze all this stuff.
It's a pretty screwed up family.
but I'm trying to, everybody's probably in the same brainwave. For murder?
Doesn't seem likely to me.
No, but I'm asking your opinion, not.
I can't see the parents being involved. I got the email and I thought of Charlie within a couple moments.
Okay.
That's what I thought of.
Charlie personally or Charlie hiring somebody?
No way, Charlie. No way.
Can't?
Wouldn't do it.
Could pull the trigger?
I don't know about that. I don't know him that well. I was telling him I used to work juvenile justice a little bit in forensic psychiatry. He gave me the creeps. But I could see him hiring. I could see you don't follow the rules, man. I mean, that's how he lives his life. Goes to South America, sees prostitutes. I mean, he does his own thing.
Is he married?
No, he's got 3 girlfriends at all times.
Okay.
Rotates them, and they don't know each other exists, and that's not a crime.
Right.
But the ease with which he did it was no empathy for other people. That's
Kind of a deceitful person to start with.
Sure. The whole family, really.
Thanks for watching and supporting us. It is thanks to your continued support that we keep bringing you exclusive cases like this one. Keep in mind that we have expanded our channel to include many types of content, from talk shows and interview shows to deep dives in the files of criminal cases. Until next time, this is Tracy and I'm signing off from Atlanta. Deep Dive True Crime, Mentor Lawyer Justice Network, True Crime Locomotive.